A 420 MSP back with Jim Roddy at the RSPA. Jim, how you doing? You're back from a show. We're going to talk about it.
Great, Harry. Yeah, good to see you. I know between last time we talked at Retail Now and today, you and I have been kind of crisscrossing the country, so it's a good thing to do.
There we go. So, this is actually a podcast that crosses over into the SMB Nation community as well as the 420, because we're talking about a large distributor, Blue Star. They just had their in-person VARTECH event down in Florida. Mm-hmm. So, walk us through what's the story? I have not been to this show. What's the story?
Sure. Yeah. So it's VARTECH is Blue Star's annual partner conference, again, annual with an asterisk because of COVID last year. So they had it October 4th and 5th in Orlando. I always get allergies when I go to Orlando, so I'm still fighting through those at this point. And so they bring in their partners. Usually it's from Canada, Latin America, Europe. They're mostly based obviously in the United States, but they didn't have, as many Canadians this year or folks from an international standpoint. But I'm telling you what, it was a very exciting, high energy, interesting show, and they addressed a lot of the challenges and the opportunities head on, right? They're not people think a distributor, they might think, oh, they're just a box mover and a supplier. They do all sorts of value added services, and the education there isn't just talking about product, it's talking about trends and things to see around the corner. So it was great. A lot of folks, from the point of sale side, the data collection side, warehousing, retail, and cannabis as well that we're going to be talking about today. So really, really strong event. Blue Star knows how to throw a party. They know how to put on a world-class event. That is for sure. We got to get you there next year, Harry, for sure.
Yeah, no, and I was going to say my compliments. There was a lot of amplification up on the social media networks of this event, right? And you can always tell it's interesting, and I'm serious. LinkedIn is sort of my favorite go-to for the business side, right? And the posts that are there, and you can tell if an event has energy or not. For example, back in the SMB Nation side, there were some recent one-day events. And God bless them, they're more of the one-day roadshow format, but there was no energy up on LinkedIn. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, that really happened last week.
Right.
Wow, I missed it. Versus VARTECH, and I do want to go. They were everywhere in my feed.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. To me, the social media when you're covering an event is for two things. One, to let everybody know what's going on there. Then also to create jealousy of the folks who weren't there, who say, man, I really missed out. I have to go. And it seems like you fit into the second camp there. So looking forward to seeing you at VARTECH next year for sure.
Well, I offend people make people jealous daily. So did they have one or more cannabis speeches? Why don't we get back on track? What was their messaging there?
Yeah, so good question. So again, the mass of what makes up the audience at VARTECH and for Blue Star, they have a ton of folks who play in the AIDC space, automatic identification and data collection. So warehousing, transportation, logistics, that's a giant part of the show. They also have a lot of folks who play in the point of sale world. So retail, hospitality, grocery stores, things like that. Huge ISV play, right? Like they had 39 ISVs getting up on stage, giving 90-second commercials across all those different verticals. So cannabis, but the way that I said in my RSP blog post, it wasn't the biggest market from a revenue standpoint, but it was generating the most buzz for sure. So they had a CannaTech panel that was moderated by our good friend Dwayne Roebuck from Blue Star, and I was one of the folks who was part of that panel, and it was very well attended. It was actually the last event on the last day, and we still had 50 something people in the room at that point. So that was the one cannabis session, but it was an hour and a half. We took a deep dive into a lot of things, which happy to dive into anywhere that you want about that session.
Yeah. And finally, as I looked over the agenda for the show, I believe the big party was the last night, not the middle night. And that's, first of all, is my understanding correct?
First, every night at VARTECH is a big party night. So they had, I guess the first, the Sunday, a lot of folks are just getting in, so that's probably smaller. But they had Monday night was a big Monday night football tailgating they had actually out on the driving range is what they did. They moved all sorts of, cars and tents and tons of food and stuff out there. And then they had a big night, they call it the Taste of VARTECH is what they did, and had all sorts of different great food out there. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, both big party nights for
And then
folks
people
during and
would
after
come
party as well.
on Wednesday.
Yeah, and then Getaway Day was on Wednesday. Shuttle starting at 5 a.m. I've been there before, where some people on the 5 a.m. shuttle did not go home the night before. Right, they were just staying up all night and decided to catch the 5 a.m. shuttle. So again, a lot of fun there, but a lot of serious business getting done. You know, the people who are traveling to shows now are really serious about moving their business forward, and VARTECH was not just no exception, but really the cream of the crop.
Yeah, and the reason I ask about the party schedule, and we'll call it good, is you put on events, you've been to a lot of events. At SMB Nation, just our demographic, it always made sense if we had a 3-day conference, and they were typically over the weekend because we're talking SMB when they could actually get away. So the big party would have been Saturday night, right, or day 2. And then day 3, what we saw was the back 9 effect, where people were kind of, ducking out to the airport about 1 p.m., skipping the last 3 lecture sessions. So we didn't have in our demographic, the people didn't have the resources to stay the extra night and make the last night the big party. I've seen it go every way but sideways.
Yeah. Exactly right. No, they have, in fact, one of the slides that they show in the general session, it's something about like work hard, sleep hard, right? And so they tell people like, yeah, you're only going to have a few hours of sleep each night, but that's good because you're going to be spending a lot of time learning, networking, and having a good time.
All right. Well, thanks as always for pitching in your insights into the industry, and we'll see you next time. And I'll see you at this VARTECH next year for sure.
Looking forward to it, Harry. Thanks. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
All right. Thanks.